So for the past 2 weeks, I have been testing the Xiaomi 15T Pro. It's the latest affordable flagship phone from Xiaomi that launched for some 650 pounds in the UK or 38,000 pesos in the Philippines. It's yet to launch in India, and if it does, I am hoping that it will launch for around 50,000 rupees. And for that price, this phone has some killer specs. The Dimensity 9400 Plus chipset, Leica optimized cameras, 144Hz OLED display, and a nice premium design. And I think this is just the phone that Xiaomi needs in India right now, because if you look at Xiaomi's lineup, they practically don't have anything in between their flagship series and their mid-range Redmi phones. Technically, there is the Xiaomi 15 that goes for around 60,000 rupees, but that one falls in the compact phone segment and isn't currently available either. So as I said, this phone might fill a void that could work wonders for Xiaomi in the premium mid-range segment. Because after using this phone for around 10 days, I have found that it has quite a lot of qualities to like, but at the same time, there are areas where Xiaomi could have done a little better, which I will get to in a bit. First, let me talk about the positives. By the way, Xiaomi has also launched a slightly toned down version of the Xiaomi 15T Pro, the Xiaomi 15T, but this one, in my opinion, has a lot of compromises, especially the cameras are just average, so I don't think this one is much value for money. Alright, so one of the things that I personally like about the Xiaomi 15T Pro is its design. This is a very well built phone. The design definitely is inspired by Apple with flat frames and a flat display, but I have to say I love this not so attention grabbing bronze color. You also get aluminum frames, by the way, and Xiaomi has worked well on the weight distribution too, even though this is a pretty huge phone. And unlike their flagship 17 Pro Max, which is insanely top heavy because of its huge camera module, this one has a more balanced design. Xiaomi has upgraded the IP rating on this phone too. It's IP68 rated against dust and water, where the phone can withstand submersion up to 3 meters for 30 minutes, which is even superior to the IP68 rating we get on flagship phones like the S25 Ultra. I wish Xiaomi had included a more robust glass protection though. It's only Gorilla Glass 7i on the front, which we know is quite scratch prone, and at the back there is only something called a fiberglass cover, which honestly I am not sure how it's going to hold up. Display wise, I almost have no complaints though. The Xiaomi 15T Pro has a big, nice screen that can get plenty bright in outdoor situations, with the screen hitting almost 1400 nits in the auto mode, and while watching HDR content, the phone can go up to 3200 nits. In my use, I have literally faced no visibility issues on this device. Plus, if you're someone who watches Reels all night, this phone can get really dim, and Xiaomi has also included a high 3840Hz PWM dimming. So apart from having great color reproduction and touch response, the Xiaomi 15T Pro also has a safer screen if you are sensitive to low light screen flickering. And I have to credit Xiaomi for this. The 15T Pro plays Dolby Vision and HDR10 Plus content on YouTube and OTT platforms extremely well. Plus, the color calibration on this device is impeccable. However, I experienced a slight screen flickering here while playing HDR content on YouTube. Now, I'm not sure if this is a legit issue. It's only happened like twice or thrice, but I thought I should share it with you guys anyway. Okay, next, performance is where this phone really shines. The Xiaomi 15T Pro features MediaTek's last year's flagship chipset, the Dimensity 9400 Plus, and I have to tell you, I have been really satisfied with the performance of this phone. The Dimensity 9400 Plus itself does not have any thermal issues, and Xiaomi has made sure to include a good cooling system with a combination of vapor chamber cooling and graphite sheets, so playing games for longer hours does not throttle the performance of this phone. Here are the results of some of the gaming tests that I did, and you can see the average FPS, the 5% lows, and stability graph itself is very impressive. The phone supports 120 FPS in games like PUBG and Mobile Legends too, and even in more demanding games like Genshin Impact, the FPS numbers were really good. The only instance I found this phone heating a bit though is when shooting 4K 60 FPS videos outdoors with mobile data turned on. The frames tend to get a bit hot. Otherwise, this phone is quite sorted in terms of performance and thermal stability. In fact, if I really have to compare, the Xiaomi 15T Pro has even better gaming results than the iPhone 17, and it's quite close to the OnePlus 13, and we know that both of them are like more expensive devices. Also, I forgot to mention before, the haptics on this phone is really crisp, although I wish it had a little more impact while ringing. And the stereo speakers on it don't have the most depth, but they're good and loud enough for all kinds of multimedia activities. Alright, so up until now, I have pretty much covered all the positives about the Xiaomi 15T Pro, but there certainly are a few things that Xiaomi could have done better on this device. For instance, Xiaomi has decided to go with a regular 5500 mAh lithium-ion battery here instead of using a larger capacity silicon-carbon battery, which literally Xiaomi has provided on much cheaper phones like the Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus. I did get more than a day's battery life from this phone, so I don't really want to complain, but still, even compact phones like the Vivo X200 FE has a 6500 mAh battery, so Xiaomi could definitely have done better here. And out of nowhere, Xiaomi has decided to ditch the charger from the box too. Last year, the Xiaomi 14T series did in fact have a charger, and some Redmi phones also come with 120-watt chargers, so honestly, I don't see any reason for Chinese brands to lose chargers from their boxes like Apple and Samsung do. It's a bad idea. This phone supports 90-watt charging, and since I did not have a 90-watt Xiaomi charger lying around, I used my 65-watt Ugreen PD charger that took this phone from 0 to 100% in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Next, I think Xiaomi should have provided the HyperOS 3.0 update based on Android 16 out of the box in this device. The funny thing is, Xiaomi talked about the HyperOS 3 in the 15T series launch event, but this phone does not have it. It's quite the irony. To be fair, Xiaomi has promised 4 years of OS and 6 years of security updates on this phone, and has also said that it will be only a month or so for this phone to get the new Android 16 update, but still, this is an almost flagship level phone by Xiaomi, and I feel that it deserves to launch with the latest software. The HyperOS 3 also comes with a couple of new AI features and a better way to customize the home and lock screen, so I hope we get that update soon on this phone. Okay, finally, let's talk about the cameras, and I have both good and bad news here. Good news is that Xiaomi has included Leica optimization in the cameras here, and like with most flagship phones, you also get a 5x telephoto lens, which is definitely an upgrade from last year. In fact, at this price range, the Xiaomi 15T Pro is the only phone that provides a 5x telephoto lens. This means you can get really crisp zoom photos from this phone, and at the same time, if you're someone like me who likes to click macro photos, this 5x lens helps you do that, and you can get some really nice macros from this camera. Not to forget, you can shoot 5x portraits with it too, and the output, as you can see, is great. Xiaomi has their own kind of color processing for portraits with a little more contrast and enhanced shadows. Honestly, I like this kind of processing. It reminds me of the portraits from the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, but at the same time, I do realize that it might not be everyone's cup of tea. The main camera here is an Omnivision sensor, the Light Fusion 900, that produces punchy and detailed results. Sometimes the contrast can be a little overboard, especially if you compare it with something like the S25 FE. The S25 FE's photos are a little more consistent in terms of color reproduction, and you will find that Samsung is able to maintain similar colors from all of its 3 lenses as well. During the night too, the Xiaomi 15T Pro produces very sharp and highlight balanced images, even if you're shooting bright lights, not just from the main camera but also from the telephoto lens. You can get some crisp shots from this phone. I think for me, my only complaints with this phone's cameras are 2 things. Number 1, the ultra-wide lens is just average, especially during the night. I have noticed grains and muddy details. And because it's just a 12 megapixel sensor, you can't shoot videos in 4K 60 FPS. The max you can shoot is in 4K 30 FPS. Number 2, the main and the telephoto lenses have a slight exposure management issue. Sometimes the images turn out quite underexposed. Check this portrait for example. This is a shot with the Vivo X200 Pro and the other with the Xiaomi 15T Pro, and you can see how the 15T Pro just underexposes the image unnecessarily. The selfies are good enough only though, they are sharp and wide, but I think the color processing is a little off. The videography prowess is strong, at least from the main and the telephoto lenses. The phone can shoot up to 8K 30fps and it can also record 4K 120fps from the main lens. The 120fps footages are not stabilized, but it's good to have the option in a non-flagship phone though. The videos in 4K 60fps turn out with decent stabilization and colors.
The selfie camera can shoot up to 4K 30fps videos. The output has decent stabilization, although it is not the widest.
Alright everyone, now we have come to the end of this video, and as I said in the beginning, the Xiaomi 15T Pro is the flagship killer phone that Xiaomi needs in their arsenal right now. It's just the perfect performance-centric phone that competes well with all of the other offerings in the 50 to 55,000 price segment. I know the company has made some compromises in the battery and there is a little optimization issue in the cameras, but bugs can be fixed over time with updates and the battery life is good enough, if not the best, which makes me think a normal person can definitely put up with those compromises. What are your thoughts about the Xiaomi 15T Pro? Do let us know in the comments below, and you know the drill. While you're there, do not forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notifications icon. Saying this, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.